Singapore is one of the smallest countries can be found in Asia, but the cost of private residential property is ranked second in the world after Hong Kong. Recently, the National Population and Talent Division has outlined the roadmap for Singapore population policies in the Population White Paper. The aim is to build a sustainable population with a strong Singapore core. However, many Singaporeans are still very concerned the cost of living in Singapore. An interview with property developer Robert Ng from Tertius Development, we find out more on the Singapore property market. What is your prediction for this year's price of private property market in Singapore?
Price will stabilize and will drop a little bit due to the government's cooling measure.
Do you think the government cooling measure like additional stamp duty is really useful for Singapore property?
Yeah, of course, why the government implement the additional stamp duty is because they want to cap people from speculating property because the price is getting higher and higher every day. With additional stamp duty, I think that the property demand will cool down at least for the time being until everyone start to get used to it. Then probably the effect will taper off slowly. So in the short time, I think that the property will get some hit on the demand, and the price of property will actually taper off or at least not increase.
As a property developer, do you think the government cooling measures will reduce your profitability?
Definitely. I mean, when the demand is there, the demand is high, we can always get a higher price. Projects are easier to sell, whereas when additional cooling measures are being put in, the buyer will want wait and see, and the longer we hold on to the property, the more interest we got to pay to the bank, and the more difficult, the more harder, the more effort has to be put into marketing and things like that. So definitely, the additional cooling measure will have an effect on the profitability of for the developers. What they are doing now is to control the increase in price. So I mean, I think that the property developers still have a mean to survive, to make a decent living. It's just that probably the price of the property will not escalate like it used to be.
The government introduced several round cooling measures, such as additional buyer stamp duty and increased down payment requirement to cool down the property market. These new curbs on the housing market are starting to show some bite, as sales of new private homes slumped in February to their lowest level in more than a year. According to Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam, Singapore private price still have some way to go before reaching an acceptable level.